How is the blockchain going to make the world a better place? Wow, I could talk for hours about this, but let's keep it simple. So how do you define your success? I choose to define my success as the impact that I'm having in the world. You know, when we had our bull market of 2017, the cockroaches were out, the market became infected by all of the wrong people doing things for the wrong reasons, and we have to go through these bear markets, which I think of as a purge. How is the blockchain going to make the world a better place? Wow, I could talk for hours about this, but let's keep it simple. I think the most important of which that is easy for everyone to understand is this concept of financial inclusion. Most of us take the simple things in our lives for granted, like having access to a bank account, or having a credit card that allows us to conveniently pay for things, or to be able to sleep at night knowing that we're not going to get robbed. But that's not true for the majority of the population of the planet. The majority of the population of the planet, 2/3 of the population don't have access to bank accounts or credit cards. They're part of what we call the on or underbanked. And so one of the things that this technology can do is it can democratize the global financial system in a way where every human being on the planet will have equal access. And the least fortunate billions of people will be the biggest beneficiaries. If we were going to redesign Maslow's hierarchy of needs today, it would include an internet connection and financial services. And that means that everyone's going to at least have the same tools and the same possibility for, living a prosperous life. Still dependent upon what we do with those tools. And some of us might be born with a better situation than others, but at least everyone's got the tools. Yeah, so I grew up as a gamer. I played a lot of role-playing games, things of that nature. So I like to think of life, as something a little bit akin to a game. And so in most video games, there's an objective. And the question is, how do you play this game? Why are you here? How do you measure your success? Because if this were a game, it's a non-linear game, right? More like a role-playing game or a massively multiplayer game, kind of like World of Warcraft. So how do you define your success? I choose to define my success as the impact that I'm having in the world. It's not about how much gold do I accumulate in the game. It's ultimately about how many lives do I positively impact. That is the thing that I measure success by. And so we can all choose how do we define success in our lives. And it's a good question to ask yourself is how do you define success? Because one of the things that a lot of people do because they don't know any better is they define it by, how much gold they accumulate. But there's a sad sort of ending there. Money doesn't make you happy. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I know if, they go make all of these compromises in their life in pursuit of wealth, thinking that when they get that $1 million or that $10 million, they're going to be happy. They think that that is the key to success. And then as they get closer to it, what actually happens is they end up less and less happy because of all the compromises they make in pursuit of that success. And then when they get there, they're like, this isn't what I expected. So, skip ahead, and I'll give you a couple of hints. First of all, I've never met a happy, selfish person. Every person I've ever met in my life that is happy is someone that has discovered a degree of selflessness, someone that lives for something more than themselves. And so that, just is something to think about. Other things worth noting. There's this Japanese term, and I often like to use Japanese concepts to tip my hat to Satoshi, known as ikigai. Ikigai is figuring out in life what it is that you're passionate about, what do you love, what it is that you're good at, and what the world needs. And at the center of that sort of Venn diagram is figuring out what your life's purpose is. Because you don't need to pursue money to be successful. Figuring out what you're good at, what you love doing, and what the world needs, you're going to be very happy if you make that your life's focus. And if you're doing what you love, you're going to work long hours. And if you're doing what you're good at, you're probably going to be very successful at it. And wealth will be a byproduct of that. Don't make money your focus. Go do that thing. Find your ikigai, and you'll probably end up making more money than you would if you went and made money your pursuit. So there's just an example of kind of changing the game. What is a billionaire? Someone that is positively impacting the lives of a billion people. And for me, Puerto Rico is one of those places where I've made, impact a focus of mine. As I like to say, Puerto Rico was the first state that's not the 51st state, but the forgotten state. And they've gone through a difficult time with Hurricane Maria, and they have incredible potential. The Puerto Rican people are amazing, full of talent, but just lacking in opportunity. They have more bachelor degrees than anywhere in the United States per capita, more artists than anywhere in the United States per capita. So Puerto Rico is not lacking in talent, it's lacking in opportunity. We just solved the biggest challenge, which was the bear market. Bull markets attract all of the wrong people. When we had our bull market of 2017, the cockroaches were out, the market became infected by all of the wrong people doing things for the wrong reasons, and we have to go through these bear markets, which I think of as a purge or a cleansing event. Because as soon as the market goes back down, all of the people that are here for the wrong reasons disappear, and those of us that are here for the right reasons clean up the mess, and we've just cleaned up the mess throughout 2018. Now we're going back into a positive market. We've filtered out all the people that were here for the wrong reasons. And hopefully, if you're coming into this space, understand that this space has immutable records and that reputation and integrity is everything. When you come into this space, make sure you understand that. Make sure that you go, why am I here? What am I doing? Yes, wealth is a byproduct of doing good work. But understand that what you do here will never be forgotten. It's permanent. And so when you come into this space, don't compromise your integrity for the quick buck. Understand that this is a long game. We're talking permanent records. The world has never had that before. What you do here will never be forgotten. So do what you do wisely. Choose what you do wisely. What are the other big challenges? We're solving most of them. Scalability, we're there. You can now start to build scalable applications. We're starting to see traction in places like the Philippines. It's really about impact. It's putting our money where our mouths are. We've talked theoretically about how blockchain can make the world a better place. It's time for less talk, more action, and examples that we can point to and show how this technology is truly bettering the lives of others. But we do have that now at a small scale. Again, the Philippines, Africa, Southeast Asia. It's just taken us a while. We had to get the technology right. We had to get the bridges, the roads, and tunnels in place before we could do that. So a lot of it still was theoretical. A lot of it was experimenting, in the sandbox. But, the sandbox is here. It's functioning. What we need is more entrepreneurs, more groups that are building things with a very specific intention in mind, and that is to ultimately make the world a better place. And there's hundreds of wonderful examples underway. I couldn't be more excited about where we are right now. It's a really exciting time to be here in blockchain. The quality of the people are great. Again, as we go back into summer and a bull market again, that'll start to attract some of the wrong people. But each time we go through this process, the quality of the foundation of this industry gets stronger. And I look around and I'm happy by what I see. Well, I spoke briefly in my present today on knighthood. And I keep coming back to Malta because of its origins. It's the sort of Templar stories and the Crusades, and Malta's got a very interesting history. I like to think of the work that we're doing here I like to think of us as crypto knights. I like to think of us that are here in service, here with a higher calling, here to do the right thing and make the world a better place. And so Malta is a place that I keep coming to, and looking for excuses to show up. And so I keep supporting that because I like what this place, sort of symbolizes. And I like to think of those of us that are out here doing the work as a new order of knights here in service to humanity. 3 words to describe the summit: a bridge between the new and the old, specifically is where blockchain meets government, where blockchain meets regulators, where blockchain meets Europe. You know, Malta is, I think, the leading spot for where this technology is integrating into the European Union. You know, so if you are interested in the future of Europe, if you are interested in the future of blockchain, Malta is the place to be.